call the meeting to order at 7:03. All rise for the pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
Belkey here, Henderson here, Shaw
Here.
Graham
Here.
Petty J6
Here.
Patterson.
Here. Okay, anybody got anything for the agenda? Otherwise, we'll need a motion.
I'll make the motion that we approve the agenda as presented.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, meeting minutes from the September 18th. Everybody get a chance to look over those? Becky sent them to us beforehand. If there's nothing we need to discuss, then we need a motion for those as well.
I make a motion to approve the meeting minutes of September 18th, 2023 as presented.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Any public comment before we begin? Okay, we are going to go over the planning application for 72980 Fulton Street for Duncan Insurance. They want to add some additional parking.
6 more spots, right?
Yes. Becky did send us all that paperwork, so if everybody's had a chance to look over that, any questions or anything you'd like to ask while they're here?
Just curious, where it says no parking, looks like there's lots of room there. Is up here toward the road, is it just tighter there than it looks?
Well, yeah, what happens is we had to put in they call it a bioswale here for water, the flow of water, so we couldn't go out any farther there.
Oh, yeah.
It's like a green belt.
Yeah, I can see you couldn't move farther, it just looked like a
It's
pretty wide
pretty-
area.
Yeah, it's just pretty much to turn around. And in order to, when you enter, this would be for the handicap spots for these. And so it gives it a little bit more room to turn around, but there's really no room for parking spots. But the way it's been, we've been putting a couple cars up in this area, you know, when it's full.
Is there 2 handicap spots now then, or just
Yes.
one? I forget.
There should be 2.
Okay. I was thinking
And those have actually worked out pretty good, and I guess if we would have known it was gonna be physical therapy when the building was built, I didn't know it was gonna be that. Looking in retrospect, it probably would have, even could have used some more, cause
Right.
it works out good.
Well, you could always add another one if you wanted to.
Yeah,
You know?
but the problem, the way it works is the sidewalk,
Mhm.
the actual parking lot comes all the way up to the sidewalk, so
Okay. Gotta get a wheelchair.
yeah, and it's actually pretty nifty because you don't have to ramp it. It's just built right in, and it works out pretty favorable.
Okay.
But a lot of those people come too. They usually have somebody driving them.
Right.
Um,
Dropping them off.
yeah,
Or staying there.
might have to get some of our employees to carpool.
Carpooling in Armada, right?
Just Uber.
Right.
Well, I was curious what we were, if I looked up the maximum spaces for medical and the maximum spaces for professional, and it says for medical 5 per 1,000 square feet, so for the physical therapy that would be 10 spaces, and then for the professional office that would be 4 times 4 is 16, right? So that's 26 spaces. And I think the current maximum of those is, they can't add anymore, is that correct?
Based on that, he can't, but there's
Right.
a section under parking that says if the need is proven for the parking and it doesn't interrupt anything else, the planning commission can vary. Which is why he had to come.
Did you have anything else you wanted to add, Dan?
No, just from a safety standpoint, I think it makes a lot of sense. You know, because people will, on our side, you know, they leave for lunch and we stagger lunches, so we have people coming and going. But to get them in the back, coming in the back door, whether it's physical therapists or our building, if we can get to where we get people coming in the back and open up that front, so the public that's coming and going, and we're a small town, right? So we have a lot of people that come to our office. And so I just think from a safety standpoint, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
Is that paved back there still?
It will be. We'll hard surface it, absolutely. Because we're gonna want it to match.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right, okay.
Same just for your reference, 9.08. 9.08
Thank you.
is where it allows us to.
Does anybody have any other questions?
No.
I'll make a motion. Okay, I'll make a motion that 72980 Fulton Street, Duncan Insurance will be adding on proposed 6 spots. Total area roughly 60 by 40.
Support.
All those in favor?
Aye.
That's your spots.
Well, thank you so much. I
We've
appreciate
got
it.
some signatures to do.
Dan, you gotta sign too, please.
Right underneath. This one's for zero.
No, he's good.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome,
you.
thanks for coming in. Thanks for our continued growth in Armada.
Thank you.
All right, guys, take
Dan,
care.
is your address out there Fulton or North Avenue?
It's both
Is it Fulton?
part of the annexation.
Oh, the annexation.
Yeah.
Yep.
Take care. Thanks again.
All right, you good?
Yeah.
Okay. Moving into ordinance, zoning ordinance review. Put those words together. We're gonna look over section 18 this time. Okay, who wants to start us off?
Last time we started this, Becky was gonna make sure everybody had the, sorry, I had just that. So there were just, like I wanted, when I read it, the thing that was confusing to me is the use of site and sketch, and they were referring to anything as a site plan when, it was just kind of unclear. So one of the things that I wanted to do is to change, when it says site plan review, change that to proposed plan review, so much of the document is just that, changing that so that it's a little easier to follow. Except in the first paragraph, I just sort of reorganized it so that it says the 3 levels, and then I detailed them in order. So it goes 1, 2, 3, and then I think 1802 A, B, and C is good, but like get rid of that chart. And that's when I, for 1802 D, I wrote that out, what the different reviews were supposed to be for, so it was a little more clear. And, I mean, these are just suggestions, so if it's not worded, if it's still confusing or whatever, then, we can do something else. But, that's kind of what I did through the whole thing. If I saw something that I thought, like 1803 at the very last, it says conceptual review plan as determined by village council.
Council resolution.
Yeah, is there a form for that? Is there a process for that? Who decides that? Is it planning? Is it someone in the office? Is it?
That's just what we would decide, that it needs to go before council.
Generally, in the past, historically speaking, we have not charged for just here, what do you think of this idea? Can it fly, can it not?
Right.
They've not been charged, because then they have to make an official application. where they pay their fee.
And it says a review fee may be required
Right.
for conceptual plan review, so that's.
So if they do choose to go for a full review in front of the planning commission or however, the planning chair, is there a form for that? I mean, is there a
But
process?
that's not a, the planning commission wouldn't do a conceptual plan review as a rule. Usually that's done by the chair, or it says, you know, it could be done by council. It's usually done outside of the planning commission.
Okay, then this should probably, it says applicants are encouraged to meet with the planning commission. So we should maybe change that to, if that's not what happens, let's change it to what happens.
Well, I guess I can't say they could meet with the whole planning commission, but historically, they've only ever met with the chair because they're usually more versed in
Sure.
what's
That makes-
allowed
yeah.
and not allowed.
So maybe it should say applicants are encouraged to meet with the planning commission and/or the chairman outside of a meeting on a more informal setting. I mean, it's just, I just think we have an opportunity to make our paperwork align with what we do.
Right.
So if that's the process in practice, then let's have the paperwork mirror it. Is all.
Did we decide if we're gonna get rid of this chart?
I believe we discussed it all and we were in agreement, if I remember correctly, that we did not want the chart in there.
Okay. I never got that. So I can't remember which name.
Is everybody okay with 1802D, the rewrite? Is that a good idea? Is it better than what's there?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea myself.
Okay.
I'm good with it.
Okay. So we're going 1803, leave it the way it is, or?
I would keep it as is because the second sentence pretty much reiterates what Becky had just said.
Well, I can see where Sam's saying,
Right.
you could add in there, meet with the planning commission or planning commission chair.
So that they know it's not, you
For
know,
an
you could go
informal
beforehand
review.
and even get your ideas down ahead of
I
time.
can see saying, or planning commission chair.
Mhm.
Okay. So that was
Because I've
just,
had a couple of them call me, well, you've given them my number, and I know Ben used to meet with them quite a bit before they would actually come.
yeah, I think it's
to
a
the
good
meeting.
idea, yeah.
It gives them an opportunity to make sure they have everything in order before they come to us.
When I was doing it, it was very helpful, because I didn't have any experience at any of this, and I didn't, you know, it was great to have someone take me aside and say, hey, this is how it works.
Right.
Probably ends up saving
I think
everyone
that
a lot
would
of
be great.
time, right?
Pardon
Probably
me?
ends up saving everyone a lot of time,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
they're steering in the right direction, which is what
Yeah.
this is supposed to do.
Yeah, yours was quick and easy to get through.
So for 1804, I would just recommend that we take off site plan review procedure, take off the word site, and just put plan
Plan
review.
review procedure.
And then start it with proposed plans shall be reviewed, so that, because that distinction between site plan and sketch plan is kind of muddy, and if we don't use the word, I just think it makes more sense.
I agree.
Oh wait, down to the third line, such application shall be submitted at least 30 days prior.
We had talked about that
I think that's,
time frame.
yeah, that's a good number. Do we need more time?
30 days is excessive.
Yeah.
I will tell you it's excessive. Most of what you do is what they call sketch plans. Dan Duncan, perfect example. You don't need 30 days to review his paperwork, but to
Right.
require the 30 days.
That's to get it onto so that it, you know, people, if stuff is in by the first of the month, then they know they're gonna be on that week. It's a way to set the calendar so that there's
But
a
that's less than 30 days.
reliability. Okay, well, whatever it is then.
I'm just saying that it's excessive from where I sit,
Should we
it should,
half it 15 days instead of 30?
well,
But if they need to have a public hearing, then,
the public hearing can't be done
Yeah, we
anyways
can't
till you
do that till
schedule
they
it at
come
your meeting.
before
They
us.
have to come here the first time anyways.
Right.
So I would say, if you want your agenda done 2 weeks ahead of time, they have to submit it when the agenda's made.
Mhm.
So if you're gonna start posting your agenda 30 days ahead of time, then start requiring it 30 days ahead of time. But
We do ours.
7 days, we're supposed to have it 7 days
Right.
and posted 7 days.
So if you need.
I
more
tell
days-
people for plans of 2 weeks in case there's a little more to it, but
Right.
I don't. I personally think 30 days is excessive. If it's a very convoluted site plan, it's gonna take more than one meeting anyways.
Right.
And at that, then they can submit it and then we can say,
This is
we're not
what
even
else
gonna
we
put
need,
you
this
on
is
the
what we need
agenda
changed.
until it goes to the engineer and the planner.
Right.
Right,
So,
well, it shouldn't anyway, according to the ordinance, all that stuff should be done, if it needs it, it should be done before it goes on the agenda anyway, all that stuff should be vetted, sort of, before it goes on the agenda, that's what the 30 days is for, to give the time.
but a sketch plan doesn't need 30 days, so I don't think it's fair to lump them all in there.
But the sketch plan may need to be reviewed by some other
No, then
professionals.
it's not a sketch plan. Sketch plan is the simplest thing
Just a
that
quick.
basically
one we
they
just
could
did.
make a drawing.
It's not the final proposal.
No, the sketch plan is the very simplest one. It's
Mhm.
the very, that
Yeah,
there
that's
isn't
what I'm
anything
saying.
complicated. It was Danny's, his own drawing with the
Right.
parking in the back. Fritz will be a site plan
Right.
that will take multiple planning commission. So the site plans are the more complicated ones. The sketch plans are, the sketch plan was the florist.
Right.
Here's the building, here's my drawing, what I'm gonna look like, and this is what, I mean, those are and that's most of what you guys do.
Well, I think, on your suggestion, I think we should make it just 2 weeks instead of 30 days. Would that be,
I would say 2 weeks, but everything has to also be, the reason I say 2 weeks is you can modify that, and you can tell a site plan person if they turn it in 2 weeks ahead of time, I'm not gonna have the stuff back from the engineer and the planner in time for the meeting, so I'm not gonna put you on this agenda, you're gonna be put on next month's agenda,
Mhm.
so that they only pay, their application fee only covers 2 meetings. Then after that, for every meeting after that, they have to pay half the fee again.
Right.
So don't put them on the agenda until you have the information, so it's easier to modify it that way than to make the exception for somebody turn it in 2 weeks ahead of time,
Okay.
in my opinion. And maybe they say 30 days because they're here specifically talking about a site plan,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Right.
Well, we're changing this to plan review
Right, plan
procedure.
review.
No, I know, I'm
So
just
we
saying,
should probably leave it that way, because it could be for,
but if you leave it that way, then that means that your sketch plans have to be submitted.
Could you
30
put it
days
in there, say sketch this many days,
No,
site
because
plan
We're
we're taking
taking
sketch and site out.
We're taking that distinction out.
of the whole thing, it can't even be in there for an exception,
we're
like
not
the
really
timing.
taking it out, because we're still having the different requirements for sketch plans versus site plans. We still have that.
Right, we're just changing the title, I guess.
We're just making the narrative not be so confusing by calling everything a site plan when most of what we do is sketch plans.
Right.
Well, I would say then it should say site plans have to be 30 days, sketch plans can be 2 weeks.
Yes.
If you're going
Oh,
to,
okay. Yeah,
if you're going to.
that makes sense, like y'all said.
Okay.
Put it in there that way.
All right,
We're gonna
so-
split the time between the two different types.
Yeah. That makes everybody happy.
Are you happy, Mike?
No. It's hard to make me happy.
Site plans are doing 2 weeks. No, those are the 30 days.
Sketch plan will be 2
Sketches,
weeks.
30,
Sketches,
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
So I just done this, the next sentence, it says the site plan shall be prepared, I think it should say all plans shall be prepared in accordance with the provisions of this article. A plan that does not meet the stipulated requirements, cross off site plan, and the next shall be considered incomplete and will not be eligible for consideration.
Makes sense?
And the rest are just kind of changing the language. Yeah, you can leave that note off. Postponement. You want to go through it like section by section? Technical review, line 1, change site plan to proposed. A2A, change site plan to proposed.
Becky, you want to go through each and every one, or you want to get the, I think we can go through that with the planner when Becky talks to them, that we need that changed in every section.
Okay.
So my book's becoming a little too scribbled as it is.
That's over here. I did have a question. What was it? Oh, this one. 18.5D, at the top of 18.5. Reports to the planning commission. Building inspector shall periodically make a report to planning commission. Well, I think that's really important for us to know. I think it's really important for the planning commission to have some feedback on whether or not the things that we approve actually get to fruition and get, you know,
I'm sorry, Sam, where are we reading at?
top of 18.5.
Page.
Oh, 18.5, okay. I'm
No,
sorry.
because I don't feel like I know enough about the stuff that happens, whether it gets, you know, if there's any feedback, or if they have any issues, if they have anything. It would be really nice if we could make that happen, that the building inspector
Yeah.
in writing or comes and talks to our.
That's what I have in my notes, is that we need to start having the building inspector here at some of the meetings.
There needs
At
to
least
be-
when there's something going
That
on.
will probably not happen, I'll just tell you that, but you can try.
Okay.
The rest of them are. Then when I, like, 1809, I had a hard time with those charts. So I took because they were kind of back and forth and they were in different orders and all that.
Right.
So I went through and I took all the requirements that are supposed to be on all kinds of plans is in 1809, and then I broke out based on, I mean, it's just reading it, 1810. It's the for sketch plans, and then 1811, because they kind of build on each other. Everything that's in a site plan is going to be on a sketch plan, right? The site plan is just going to be more.
Right.
There were a couple that probably on the sketch plan one probably need to be moved to the site plan one. And that would be like if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. The 8th bullet down starts driveways, sidewalks, paths, public transit. That one, and the one under it, existing, the proposed easement, and then the third one, identification of areas, if you follow. I think those 3 could maybe go to the site plan one.
I agreed.
Okay. Because it's more of a like building starting from scratch question,
Right.
where sketch plans are things that are kind of already in place.
Simple in there. Yep, agreed.
The only other note I made on 1811,
Okay.
the second bullet says a reduced copy of the site plan on 8.5 by 11. You do not want to reduce size copy,
Okay.
because especially of a site plan, then you can't read
You
anything.
can't. Okay.
So,
Well, we also have an opportunity if we want to ask for them in a certain kind of media. We should. This would be, you know, instead of that, do we want it on a do we want?
we don't, because how do I print?
Okay.
I'll print it any bigger.
I can't print that big, so if I don't require them to provide it to me, then I don't have. It would be nice to eventually be all digital. I don't disagree there, but, practicality, you guys don't all bring in laptops, I don't send you everything digital, so if I have to print something for you, I can't. So it's best to make them provide it legibly, because then that's onus is on them and not on us.
Right, okay, that's a good idea.
I was gonna ask, is there a fee when the building inspector decides that
No.
it's, okay?
So for 1812, I didn't write it all out, but I just think it should be in a bulleted list. That's not so busy. I just didn't want to be all that typing.
Well, and again, this on 1812, it says a reduced copy of the site plan on 8.5 by 11 inch. You don't wanna do, you just don't wanna do that.
1812, where does that say that?
Third one down.
The third one down in the first box,
Okay, so just take that whole one out.
yeah.
Right, and so we have a chance, like on the one below that, address, telephone, and instead of the fax number, we might want their email. Right, I mean, who does fax much anymore? Things like that. So, yeah, 1812 had a lot, I just don't want to retype it all. The other thing I did for 18, and I don't know if this is really the planning commission's role to do this, but the forms that we had were way out of sync with what the ordinance was asking for. So I reworked them to match the ordinance and to be, like I put the procedure on the front. There's, the front page is the information that Becky needs to see in order to sign and keep track of stuff. And then it talks about, type of review so that we'll know the information, the specific information we need, their signature, and then it goes into a list of attachments required, right? Like for, I had questions on some of them because it doesn't, I don't know, for sketch plan, how many copies, what form, how do we want them? I did that for all of them. I didn't really know if we wanted to keep that the same or what. So there's two different forms because I'm talking to Becky, we thought it might be important to have like land split, plan combine, special approval, rezonings on a different form than the plan reviews. So they're different. I didn't
see them.
for the land split and the combine and the rezoning on that, I didn't put all the list of requirements. So I think it makes things a little easier for the customer to understand what we want.
Nothing easier than some of this.
The one thing I would say is on the bottom of the application, it says for all applications, proof of ownership or option to purchase. I would not, even if it's got an option to purchase, the current owner of the property would have to sign the application in case the option to purchase falls through, but now they think they still have rights to build because I told them they can do that on that thing,
right.
so.
Okay.
If they are not the owner of the property would still have to sign the application.
So we could put another line down here that says owner's signature?
Yeah, we would have to have, yeah, I would say you have to because,
Because they don't own it. They don't own it, they can't.
and a perfect example is, the florist in that building over there. She's only leasing the building, but we have to know that she was given permission by the owners to be in that building. We can't give her permission to open a business in there without knowing that the owner said she has the right to. So that would be
That makes
more
sense.
why you need the owner's signature somewhere as well. Well, and right up here, you have, oh, you have signatures down there, okay, you can put it down there. I was gonna see you have the property owner up there, you could just put a thing, but if you have signatures down there, add it with the signatures.
Yeah, we could just add another line, we could say owner if different from applicant.
If other than applicant.
Pardon me?
Yeah, there you
If
go.
other than applicant.
Yeah.
You may say, I'm not different.
So how many copies do we want for a sketch plan review?
I,
You
I
usually make all
always-
the copies.
well, I'm not supposed to, but simple ones I do, but site plans specifically with the big plans. You always have to do however many members of planning commission you have and 3 additional. So right now you have 5 members, so you have to say 8.
So we wanna say,
8. Minimum of 8. If it's a site plan, you might want to do 10, so that I have a copy to send to a planner
Right.
and an engineer.
okay, so we'll just say 10,
Yeah, and then the rest just stay in the file.
okay. And then 10 copies. Those in there?
And again, on site plan, you put a reduced copy, so we wanna take that
Yeah,
out.
take that out. And on the site plan, I had already moved landscape and driveways to there. So I thought I did on both spots, but I didn't. So I don't know, what do you think that anybody else has to approve these new forms, or can you just go ahead and do it? I don't know.
I think the planning commission
Yeah,
can
they'll
just do
still
it.
get,
Pardon me?
I think you guys can just do it.
Okay, good.
but we don't wanna do that until we have everything back from the planner, right?
Oh, I would, the forms themselves, I guess, don't really matter.
We can go anytime.
I could probably, I would think, go,
We don't have to submit them to the planner.
oh, no, I don't think so.
This is just for our own administration of our ordinances.
Right.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I can make those changes and submit this to you, Becky,
Okay.
unless you want to. I don't know if you have the native file.
Okay, anything else?
Wraps it up, right? Right,
Nobody's got anything else on 18? All right, well, we are. Any comments or anything for the report section? Anybody?
I just wondered if we had a flower shop updated up. Have you heard
She
anything?
was supposed to open today.
Really?
Yeah, today was supposed to be a grand opening, I thought. But I,
I know they were working
The
on
sign is
drywall and
up, I
stuff.
saw the sign.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, from my home, from my kitchen, I saw it.
I honestly, I saw that on Facebook, but I don't know.
Hmm.
So, I did not leave the office today, so I don't know. It's supposed to be.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
She's moving along quickly,
Right?
just in time for Halloween and Thanksgiving and Christmas,
Yeah,
which are I'm sure big.
Big ones.
For the
Remember
floor.
they were- Okay, if no one's got anything else, we
I
need
do.
one more thing. Oh, I said it down.
It's time.
Okay,
I will continue to offer support from the office.
Becky is resigning. So, as she said, she'll still help us from the office, but
Okay.
that's gonna be,
Well, we're gonna miss you back.
sure, that's gonna be a
You
big
are
loss here
an
at the
integral
meetings.
person and
Well, I appreciate it,
And
but
the
it's time. So I will do today's minutes, but after that, then it'll be up to you.
Yeah.
Agendas, minutes, so send the agendas to me, I'll get them on the website, I'll post them in the window.
Okay.
Same thing with the minutes, when they're approved, send them to me and I'll get them on the website.
So the information for the agendas, I'm not gonna be responsible for composing these things. These have already,
That'll already be done, and that, somebody's gonna drop that at the office, I'm gonna let Christy know they're here.
okay,
She'll review them. You'll just put the list together.
mhm,
If I have all the information, I can make sure it all gets in the files.
okay.
Okay, well. On that sour note, one more item left. Anybody wanna make that motion?
Other motion to adjourn.
to adjourn.
And then motion to adjourn on October 13th at 7:40. And what else?
That's it.
That's
That's
it?
it.
All right.
Support?
Today's
Alright,
not
all those in favor?
Aye.
It's a
We're out.
16.
The 16th,
Oh, 16?
16th,
Oh,
whoops.
I thought it was 13.
16th.
we gotta come back in.
Times